The morphine made everything soft around the edges, but not soft enough to dull the sharp edge of betrayal cutting through my chest. Lying in that hospital bed, with tubes running out of me like I was some kind of science experiment, I kept replaying what I'd seen on my phone, the security camera footage that my neighbor Frank had texted me with 3 words: "You need to see this." I'm Gerald Hawthorne, 73 years old, and I've survived 2 wars, 3 heart attacks, and 50 years of marriage to a woman who could argue the spots off a leopard. I thought I'd seen everything. I was wrong. My son Marcus married Rebecca 5 years ago, and I'll admit, I had my doubts from the start. Something about the way she looked at our family home, that old Victorian I'd spent 40 years paying off, like she was already measuring it for curtains. But Marcus was 42, divorced once already, and so desperate for a second chance at happiness that he mistook her calculated charm for genuine affection. I kept my mouth shut. What else could I do? A father wants his son to be happy, even when his gut tells him trouble's coming. The heart attack hit me on a Tuesday morning while I was fixing the porch railing. One minute I'm hammering away, the next I'm staring up at the sky with Marcus's panicked face hovering over me. 3 days in intensive care, followed by surgery, followed by a week in recovery. Rebecca visited once, stayed 10 minutes, spent 9 of them on her phone. But this wasn't about hospital visits. The footage showed Tuesday night, the day after my surgery. My house, lit up like Christmas, cars parked along the street. I watched Rebecca let him in through the front door, a man in an expensive suit, younger than Marcus by a decade at least. I watched them embrace in my entryway, under the picture of my late wife Martha. I watched them head upstairs with champagne glasses. I watched my home, my sanctuary, my life's work, become a stage for her betrayal. Wednesday, more of the same. Thursday too. Different man each time, or sometimes the same one. I couldn't tell through the rage turning my vision red. Frank's follow-up text read, "Should I call Marcus? The whole neighborhood is talking." I told him not to, not yet. I had a plan forming through the medication fog, a plan that required me to stay quiet and heal fast. The doctors said 2 weeks minimum before discharge. I made it 9 days through sheer spite and stubbornness, qualities Martha always said would outlive me. Marcus picked me up from the hospital on a Friday afternoon, babbling nervously about taking time off work to help me settle in, about Rebecca preparing my favorite pot roast. I watched him drive, this man I'd raised, this good man who worked 60-hour weeks as a civil engineer and coached Little League on weekends, and I wanted to spare him what was coming. But truth doesn't care about kindness. "How's Rebecca been?" I asked casually. "Oh, you know her, busy with her charity work and book club." He smiled, oblivious. "She's been staying at the house to keep an eye on things, said she wanted to make sure everything was perfect for your return." Perfect, that was one word for it. When we pulled up, the house looked normal. Neat lawn, flower boxes Rebecca had insisted on installing, my American flag hanging from the porch exactly as I'd left it. She met us at the door in an apron, playing housewife like she'd been cast in a commercial. "Gerald, you're home." She hugged me carefully as if I might shatter. "I've been so worried." I let her fuss, let her guide me to my recliner, let her bring me tea and fluff pillows and play her part while Marcus unloaded my things from the car. I watched her move through my house, Martha's house, with the ease of someone who thought she'd already won. After dinner, after Marcus left for his night shift at the construction site, a project behind schedule, he'd be gone until midnight. Rebecca retreated to the guest room she'd been staying in. I waited until I heard the shower running, then made my way upstairs, slower than I liked, but steady enough. The guest room told its own story. Expensive luggage I'd never seen before, a man's watch on the nightstand, champagne bottles in the trash can, poorly hidden under tissues, and there, on the dresser, a phone she'd left while showering, unlocked, trusting in my supposed frailty. The messages painted a picture uglier than I'd imagined. 3 different men. Discussions about Marcus's work schedule, jokes about the old man in the hospital, plans for when I was gone and she could convince Marcus to sell the house, split to somewhere more sophisticated than our small Pennsylvania town. One message made my blood run cold. 2 more years and the prenup is void. Then it's all community property. Just need to keep the old man sweet until he kicks off. I photographed everything with shaking hands, sent copies to my email, and put the phone back exactly as I'd found it. Saturday morning, I called a family meeting. Marcus, Rebecca, my daughter Jennifer, who drove in from Pittsburgh, and my lawyer, Tom Brennan, who I'd known since he was in diapers. Rebecca tried to protest, claimed I needed rest, but I insisted with enough force that she couldn't argue without showing her hand. We gathered in the living room, Marcus confused, Jennifer suspicious. She'd never liked Rebecca either, and Rebecca perched on the couch like a cat ready to bolt. "I want to discuss my will," I announced. Rebecca's eyes lit up before she caught herself. "These last few weeks have given me a lot to think about." "Dad, you don't need to," Marcus started. I held up my hand. "I'm 73, son, had 3 heart attacks now, time to get affairs in order." I turned to Tom. "I want to make sure the house stays in the family, protected. I'm thinking of putting it in a trust that passes directly to any grandchildren Marcus might have. If there aren't any within, say, 10 years, it goes to Jennifer's kids." Rebecca's mask slipped just slightly. "That seems premature, Gerald. Marcus and I haven't discussed children," I finished for her. "I know, but this house has been in our family for 4 generations. I want to keep it that way. Also want to make it clear that if Marcus predeceases me, which God forbid, Rebecca gets nothing from my estate. Standard protection, you understand. Can't be too careful." The silence was explosive. Marcus looked confused, but not concerned. Why would he be? Jennifer looked quietly satisfied. Rebecca's face had gone through several colors before settling on pale fury. "Actually," I continued, pulling out my phone, "there's something else we need to discuss. Frank Carlson's security camera has a pretty good view of my front door. Funny thing about modern technology, you can access these cameras from anywhere, even a hospital bed." I watched Rebecca realize what was coming, watched her calculate whether to run or bluff. She chose wrong. "I don't know what you think you saw, but..." I showed Marcus the photos of the messages, watched my son's face crumble as he read his wife's casual cruelty, her mercenary planning, her contempt for both of us. The aftermath was quieter than I expected. Marcus cried, which broke my heart more than my own betrayal. Jennifer held him while he shook. Rebecca tried indignation, then bargaining, then threats, before finally storming out with whatever dignity she could salvage. The divorce papers were filed Monday morning. 6 months later, Marcus lives in the house with me. We've settled into an easy routine. He cooks breakfast, I make dinner, we argue about football and pretend everything is fine while he heals. Jennifer visits every Sunday with her kids, and the house feels full again, the way Martha would have wanted. I'm teaching my grandson how to fix that porch railing, the one that tried to kill me. He's 8 and asks endless questions, and every time he hammers a nail straight, I think about legacy, real legacy, not the kind measured in property and prenups, but in teaching a boy how to build something that lasts. Sometimes Marcus thanks me for uncovering the truth, and sometimes he just looks sad. Both reactions are valid. Love makes fools of us all eventually. As for Rebecca, I heard she moved to Philadelphia, found another Mark, is probably playing the same game. I don't waste energy hatting her. At 73, with a rebuilt heart and a house full of family, I've learned that the best revenge is simply outliving your enemy's expectations.